What's up, guys? Welcome back to the weekly scraps. Aldo's not here today, so I'm taking over. Don't worry, he'll be back on the next episode. But yo, what?
Jake,
What?
what? Are you doing the show, bro?
Yo, I thought you weren't.
You're not doing the show
Yo,
right
what
now.
the? I thought you were.
He's not doing the show. This guy, was he doing the show, guys?
I thought you were out for this one.
Wow, you.
I thought you were like hanging out with Becca or something.
People for 1 second and they just take advantage. Wow.
What? I can't do the show.
I mean, you can.
I can't do the show without you.
That's a little different.
I mean, I'm not a UFC champion, but
we're starting here, and that's like big leaps, you know.
Whoa. I felt ready, but now I'm a little insecure.
Almost there.
Oh, shit.
Almost there.
Oh, okay. Well, how's your day?
My day is great.
That's good.
I just want to put on this New York Yankee fitted and the gold chain because UFC 285 did it big time. So we got to make sure this is a big time episode. There's a lot to talk about.
Big time. How does that have to do with New York?
Because New York, I'm just in my feels right now.
New York's not
I feel
shit, bro.
straight up New York right now. You know what I mean?
Is that why you're,
Dead ass, if you keep talking like this.
where's the Timbs?
I got no Timbs on. I just got my feet. It's brick in here, though. My toes are cold
It's
as hell.
cold? Dude.
My toes are
You're
cold.
a tiny little fucker.
I am. Look at this guy cursing again.
Yo, they say you be yourself. Can I not be myself?
Listen, Jon Jones is back.
New Yorker. He's a New Yorker, right?
He's a New Yorker. Upstate New York.
Yo.
He's a little different.
Can I be honest?
It ain't quite the same, but we count them.
I'm sure you guys
No
could
disrespect, respectfully.
I'm sure you guys could tell by now, but I'm one of those guys who started watching like really during the pandemic, so I didn't really see Jon Jones
At all.
perform live.
Wow.
I saw his highlights.
Oh, you saw his highlights. Okay.
So I really thought GSP was the GOAT until yesterday.
Oh, GSP was your GOAT? I mean, that's not a bad GOAT, but
No,
now.
but I can't even debate it with a straight face now. It's Jon Jones. I'm sorry. Despite all the cheating he did,
There's nothing to be sorry about. Well, the cheating thing for me is still such a like weird space because I don't actually know. I know that guy more plates, more dates was saying something that whatever. But that's besides the
you know
fact.
what?
I just don't know, so I can't speak on it and
Why are you
pretend.
capping? He popped twice. You
Popped
think
twice? I thought he popped once
Twice.
for the picograms. That's all I know.
No, there was 2 different times in his career.
I don't know, whatever. But for me, I think he's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT. You can't even. It's like there's no argument now. I don't think.
Won the belt, youngest UFC champion ever, 23 years old.
And just kept going
Just kept going.
for a while.
Like an Energizer bunny. Like legit took out generation after generation.
It's
Like
kind of like me. Like when the girl comes over, I just keep going. You know, Energizer Bunny.
I feel like that's not what happens.
Uh,
I wouldn't know though.
I've,
So you could feel free to.
no, I'm just.
I mean,
ladies that are watching. I like to compare myself to Jon Jones' career.
wow.
Long, huge resume.
Yeah, that's actually good. You should do stand up.
Maybe I find myself funny.
No.
All right, yo, guys, I'm taking your requests very to heart. Marab's gonna take my place on this podcast. Let's do it. Come on.
Where are you going?
You go.
Okay. Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah. What's up?
I just finished training in Aljo's garage.
I'll give you the mic.
Yeah, I just finished training Aljo's garage. It was
Good training today.
Good, yeah. It was good. Yeah, it's not secret. I was a little cold like last 2 days, and now I finally feel good. And I don't wanna take. Now that's it. I wanna just keep going and training good. And yeah, we just finished. No, we finished training with Muin.
Yeah. Good. So what we got? 5 days.
Yeah.
Like when this podcast actually come out, it'll be like 5 days because it'll be Monday. Yeah. So 5 days, pretty much exact.
Today is Sunday night.
Yeah. So it'll be good, man. I think you're looking sharp. I may be a little bit biased, but I think just watching, I
yeah,
think you're doing
wow.
good stuff. You do stuff that are going to give people a hard time no matter who they are. And I can tell you, as a fan and as a training partner, I'm very, very excited to watch because I think this is a big opportunity for you, the country of Georgia. And I think Peter, people rate him so highly, and I think you beat him. Now people will have to shut the hell up and respect everything that you've done, because people still say Pete is the champ, so which is so crazy to me. But it's like, what are they gonna say when he goes 4-4 out of 4 losses out of 5 fights? It's gonna be pretty.
And 2 guys from the same gym.
But I have to done job first,
No, of course,
you
always.
you already did so, and then I mean, if I beat him, then we finally make him humble, Yeah, because listen, you know what, I met him in locker room actually on Monday, maybe no, I forget what day was this, maybe Wednesday. In UFC PI.
Oh, last week at the PI.
Yeah, last week. Yeah, I was PI just running nighttime, and he was there. He just came day before, and he was talking, going back and forth in the locker room. And then I said, well, "Where is the money? Like, did your friend give you money that he lost when we bet?" I bet money. Who don't know this one? So when Aljo was fighting Peter Yan, the second fight, his friend Anatoly, he's actually ONE FC's double champion. He's 205 champion and heavyweight champion. Anatoly, he's from same country, and I bet him like man to man. We bet online, which was big deal. Like all my country, all his country know about it. And
how much was it?
$50,000. We bet to $50,000. So it was no way to you lost against that guy, but if you knee him in the face, and then if Peter win like this, and then I have to pay it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whatever, I don't know. Anyways, so but okay, I asked him, where is the money? He say, because I don't really lose. I'm like, he say, I tell Anatoly don't give because I don't lose. I'm like, look at this stupid guy, bro. This guy is so stupid. I because I'm fighting for money. I don't want to slap him free, but but he deserves to slap to free, because this is man,
you make a bet like a man. You lose, you pay your debts, man.
Yeah.
And still thinks he
That's a problem.
Yeah. So but I tell Aljo to him, listen, we talk now. It's like I have a lot of questions. He was, he was disrespect us. He was talking shit. Remember, he also say when we see Aljo's team, we will kill his team.
Yeah.
Remember? But he was meaning me, because every time Russian media, they're looking for some drama, and every time they ask me something, I tell straight whatever I was thinking. And of course, and he don't really like me, and I don't like him either. So and then he was meaning he was meaning me, because he don't have any problem with Alaya Quinta, because saying right
yeah.
when he was meaning we're gonna kill his team, I think he was meaning me. So anyways, and that's just another thing. He was talking all shit. He was calling us clowns and like this, and so but yeah, whatever it is. I have to done job, and I have to just beat him up. This is number one and most important. Now I can keep talking. He can be he's okay. One thing, I give him respect as a family man. He has a good family, and of course everybody loves his family, and everybody should love family, and everybody should be good for family, and for his family he's good. But otherwise, what the fuck he's doing? He don't know rule. He was champion. He don't know rule, and then he's not humble. He's cocky, and he's talking shit, and then what? I'm gonna give him a lesson.
The Iron Sheik, make him humble. Yes, I like it, man. I think, like you said, you gotta obviously compete and show the world first, but it's exciting to think about. I know even for me, I always think about what happens if I win. I always think about what happens if I lose, and what I always do, which I think makes everything easier, I just say, if I lose, life's still the same. Nothing changes. My friends still love me. My family still loves me. So it's that's all that's matter. I still make good money. I'm life is good. I'm ranked top 5 in the world. How is that a bad thing, So when I look at it like that, I'm like, don't worry about the losing, just worry about the performance. And if you do the things you're supposed to do in training that you prepare for, good things will happen, you know? Obviously, anybody could get caught. It happens. It's a crazy fight game. Valentina Schevchenko, she got caught in a choke. When she did the spinning kick, she took her back. So it's the same thing. Anything crazy can happen. But who's to say that can't happen for you? And maybe he makes a wrong move and you hit him with the big right hand and knock him out, you know? So it's just all about the performance. Worry about the performance, and I think good things will happen.
Yeah, thank you. It's good advice because sometimes I take this fight too much personal because, like we talked before this is like more than fight for me. This is like many things. I take this one personal. To be honest, I don't really want to fight him before. I don't want to fight him, because like it was like, I can, like I tell you this, and you said in your podcast, I watch. If I lost against Jose Aldo, I don't have nothing to lose because I lost I'm another great guy, great fighter, and it's nothing, respect and God bless you. It's not good for me, but it's good for you, and then you move forward and God bless you. But I don't want to like give one chance to me lose against PT because this is, I don't care money, I don't care like my fight, my career, I just care like something more bigger than this. So, but yeah, I should look that way. I should worry my performance, not about like something other personal things. I should just take this fight as a person, professional,
Yeah.
I should take more professional and just like other fight because like I've been like last couple of days I've been stressed because I don't know, maybe I was stressed because I was getting cold. I injured a little bit myself and I worry too much. I want to beat this guy so bad, but I
You almost like want everything to be perfect.
Yeah,
but then
exactly.
Stuff happens, you know.
Yeah, but whatever it is, always it's fight camp or whatever. Always it's some ups and downs. But I gotta make sure fight day, I'll be ready and we're gonna beat him and we're gonna send him Siberia. Let's go.
Let's go.
Thank you for having me. I love this podcast. I love this studio. Nice, beautiful, man, beautiful.
Thank you.
Good.
They
Good
did a
luck,
good job
guys.
with this. I'm very happy.
Yeah, good
Now
job.
we're more professional.
Yeah, nice, man, nice, and good luck. Let's go, brother.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
I will, brother.
Big times coming, man.
Fight
Good times
week.
coming.
Fight week, yeah. A lot of 135ers also fighting this Saturday.
Who by the way, I forgot to ask, who's in your corner for this one?
So,
think some
Ray
of the fans
Longo,
were
Matt
asking.
Serra, you, and John Wood
Okay, good.
from Syndicate. Yeah.
Let's go to
Yeah,
All-Star team.
I've been training a Syndicate in Vegas long time, and now because I'm fighting main event, I can have a four corner.
Yeah.
So like I have all my old corner men like Ray, Matt, you, and it's gonna be +1 John Wood. So it's
Good.
It's gonna be good. I think good team. It's gonna be good. So. Yeah, and then you have 5 weeks left after this. Now, 7 weeks left.
From your fight, 8 weeks.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice, good time.
Then I get to bury
yeah.
the midget.
So yeah, and then me, I take 1 week off, and then you can beat me up after. Yeah,
Get my butt in shape.
Yeah. So let's go. Thank you, brother.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah. Good times, man. Good times.
All right, I think we just found our new co-host.
Yeah, right. So whenever you're out.
Yeah, no. This is my last episode, guys. I'm taking over now. All right, Jon Jones.
Yeah, so my thing with Jon, I still think for me, he's the GOAT, just based on what he has done throughout his entire career, just generations. And I would say these generations comes in waves about 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
Before there's like a new slew of fighters.
Sure.
Yeah. I read the SAT words. Yeah, so
Slew?
Yeah, come on, man. Talk to me nice, man.
I don't know if I've ever heard that word.
Look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, look
I'll
it up.
take
You
your
do
word
that.
for
You
it.
do that right now, actually.
No, I'm
New
good.
slew of fighters coming in through the scene, and Jon just taking them out one by one, taking out the baddest guys of the legends of the time. They're coming in and taking in the new slew of fighters, the new baddest of the baddest, and then retiring and then coming back 3 years later to take out the now baddest
the new
guy
baddest guy at the heavyweight.
at a heavyweight division.
Crazy.
That's like I know people are gonna say Khabib, no one won a round against him.
Dude, I posted something today. Khabib had 13 fights total in the UFC.
John had 14.
John had 15 title fights.
Including this one that just passed.
Yeah.
15.
So, like, it's crazy because, like, obviously Khabib has, like, one of the best resumes of all time, and he's one of the most dominant fighters of all time. But
he's never bled. He's never lost a round.
But John
I
did
know,
it
that's what I'm
15
just saying.
times. I'm like,
this is what
just
the fans.
I
This
know.
is what the hardcore, diehard Khabib fans are gonna say.
I mean, no, I understand.
Shut
like,
up.
even if I feel like
Relax.
you could like, I understand why people would say Khabib's the GOAT, but like,
But again, if you roll the dice more times at the casino, how many more odds are there of the house winning? It's that simple.
and then so like, yeah, like, John rolled the dice in 15 title fights, didn't lose one of them.
And Khabib had how many title fights? 3?
No,
Not
like-
not including the one he won. So 3 defenses. So 4 title fights altogether. Al, Gaethje, Poirier, Conor.
That's it.
From what I remember, that's it.
I heard it was 5.
No, I'm pretty sure it was 4.
So like, which that's an amazing.
That's still good.
That's amazing.
3
I mean,
defenses.
I feel
That's
like
a
if you
lot.
defend it once, that's like amazing. You
Yeah.
know, like
I agree.
even like just to win it, even or
And-
even compete for the title.
Before you guys call us haters on these guys, oh my goodness, I love the Muslim people. I have
Nah.
good Muslim friends.
I feel like we couldn't be more respectful of
Yeah,
Khabib right now.
we're just not being biased in
Yeah.
our analytical approach of what we're actually watching. We're giving you the facts. Like Khabib has had significantly less fights than John. If John had that many fights, imagine if John stopped at the 3 title defenses. What would anyone say before he even ran into
Nothing.
Gustafsson?
Nothing.
Before he ran into Gustafsson.
Dude, I don't even. I feel like.
But you see what I'm saying? If you do,
No, I
do
know.
the numbers, it's like, yo, what are we talking about? This is
It's-
not even a comparison. Yes, the other stuff outside of that, pregnant women, the drugs, and all the stuff, the crashing the car into the pole, and whatever, you know. But he's done a lot of good things. He played Batman before Kevin Holland was the new Batman. You know, he was saving people, stopping crime. He was literally the guy doing the same exact things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Okay.
so
I didn't know where you were going. I thought you meant like he played Batman in a movie,
No.
which makes his career even more badass.
like real life Batman.
I mean,
Yeah. But what I'm
yo,
going,
if
what
there
I'm,
was a Batman, I would think it was Jon Jones.
no.
Yeah.
No.
I'd be like, yo, he's a freak athlete.
If
He
you're
knows
just
all
talking
the,
just
he knows
that,
all the
I'm talking about the
karate
whole
stuff.
package.
and-
You can't put the whole package in with Batman.
Nah, but like, have you ever played Batman like Arkham Knight, like the video games?
Yeah, but
But you know how badass he is in those? Like he just beats everyone's ass.
but you're just talking about that. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like everything that Batman epitomizes. John cannot be Batman
Well,
in real life. Could not be Batman.
he could be. I mean, Batman's a flawed individual. He has like a dark demon side to him.
Where's the dark? What are the bad dark things that he ever did?
Well, like everything he does is like kind of like a vengeful thing.
It's vengeful, but it's always
is
with a
not-
good purpose. There's none of it is vengeful to the point where it's like he's out there
Yo,
being the Joker or
Batman's
being
not perfect.
Mr. Penguin.
It's not perfect. And neither is John. John is a
This
man of
this is a crap comparison that you're making. I just want you to know that. Because this is awful, and the fact that you're trying to
let me-
die on this hill right now
let me
is
cook right now.
hilarious.
Let me cook.
This is like comedy right now.
Yo, what? Why are you? Just let me cook.
'Cause I just
bro.
want you to know how ridiculous this sounds.
You think I don't know this?
You're saying he's vengeful. Like, what? You think Batman's telling anyone, I would literally kill you? No, I didn't say I would fight you. I would literally kill you. John, you think I'm going to just sit there and let you kill me, John? Come on. Really?
Well, yeah, because that's Jon Jones at public facing. But
Oh
when
my
he's in the
goodness.
mask,
He's dying on this hill, guys. He's dying on this hill.
when he's in the mask, he only says that to criminals.
He's dying on this hill. He has officially died
And yo,
on this hill.
I mean, okay, fine. I'll give you that. Dana White could be Batman because he's a billionaire.
Batman's a good guy.
I feel like everyone who was watching clicked off by now, so we should get back on.
Yeah,
I'm
this
ready
is
to.
just
I'm
not-
ready to
I-
jump off this hill.
I can't. Yeah, please, because you've died on it. I'm trying to resurrect
Wait,
you right
would you
now.
be Batman?
I'm trying to resurrect you.
Could you be Batman?
I don't think so.
You're just not that good of a person.
I think I'm okay.
You're just like an average human being.
I think I'm average.
I
I
mean,
try to do the
Batman's
right
not
thing when
much
I
of a grappler. He's more of a striker.
And what I was gonna say is the one thing I do like about John now that he's back into the limelight
That was a great.
is
Just pivot right back. That was good.
is that he's showing
That was elite
his
podcasting.
his vulnerability to the world more, and I think that's making him more likable to the fans. Like, to me, likable is such a weird thing. It's like, oh, you're not likable. I'm just like, based on what? Because I'm not some fictional made up character in your head. I'm a human being. Like, you take the good with the bad. So for Jon, I like that he's showing that he's not a perfect individual. It's like the same thing. Let me not even get into that. But let me just say, I just like that part of him, and he's showing the world like, hey man, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. There are plenty of people out there in the world who have these similar incidences that he's had.
Yeah.
But they don't get highlighted or put into the spotlight because they're not in a position of popularity the way he is as being an athlete. And I will also say, let me leave that out.
But that's two of those now.
Let me just leave that part out.
Yeah.
I don't want to make this about race or anything like that. But
Okay.
it's a very slippery slope to go down, so we'll just leave it with just the actions. But a lot of people have similar dark skeletons in their closet, very similar to Jon.
Sure, yeah. And I'm like kind of pleasantly surprised because I thought Jon was like honestly, we've talked about this a bunch. I thought he was kind of like a completely lost cause in terms of like his public like what he's been caught doing. Like I thought he was kind of like just a total narcissist. Like there was no saving him. Like that was my impression, because I just kind of feel like I have like I'm very like sensitive to those type of people. But we woke up today, no bad headlines about Jon. We saw him at the club. He looked like he was a happy guy. It seems like he's kind of like he's done a 180, and he's like maybe tamed down those demons he had before. Like he had a rough like midlife crisis for a little bit, but it's kind of like seems like it's maybe calmed down a little. He's back with his fiance.
I'm gonna give some pushback.
I'm just
major pushback.
Throwing up a test balloon here.
I agree. I think that's a very fair assessment to make, and I don't think it's wrong.
It might be, is what I'm saying.
But I still think you can show improvements in your personal life and your decision-making skills, but still do all those things that you enjoy doing, whether it's coke, whether it's smoking, whether it's drinking, whether it's out going to a strip club, whether it's skydiving, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I think it depends on how you control your decision-making. You could do those things and be the most pleasant person to be around. You could do those things and be a complete ass. You know what I mean? So I think Jon has done a great job now of controlling those decisions. Maybe he does get lit still, and maybe he's around certain people that make sure he stays on the bandwagon. Maybe they have an agreement. Maybe there's a safe word. Like, I'm saying these things that might seem corny to people, but these are real life things that, like, even like my fiance and I'll put this out there. There was a point where she thought like I drank too much, and I was like, I only drink when I don't have a fight. And when I have a fight, it's very, very few in between. And when I do, it's like after a hard sparring session when I'm in shape. If I'm not in shape, I don't reward myself. Mm-hmm. After I have a hard, crazy training camp, I like to unwind. I like to have a good time. I think it's relatively normal. And sometimes I feel like I'm catching up on life with all the other events that I missed from like obligations events that I could have gone to. And I decided to, you know what? I didn't get to go to that. I didn't get to do this. I'm going to just chug everything down now. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it could make me do things like I could be a little bit rude, or I could be a little bit more standoffish. And I feel like that's normal, or I could be more of a handful to deal with. But that's no different from anybody else. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I can still have my crap together. And I think Jon is now realizing that he can probably still have his crap together and still enjoy his life and still realize that, I'm human. This is what I enjoy and this is what I like. Yeah. Unless it's going to the point where as soon as you have the substance, you just can't control yourself
off the rails.
Like at all.
Yeah.
And making like these weird videos. We're not gonna say any names. Where you're making some weird like goofy videos looking at the camera and you could tell the person is completely obliterated. You know? And these weird voices. Like, I'm just saying, there's a place and time for everything. And I'm not saying he has completely washed away those things. And I don't think it's bad if he didn't. No, I think it's about just making sure he's around the right people who are going to make sure if Becca and I go out and we can both get drunk together, we can have a great time. Mm-hmm. If I go out with some, like, some random person that can influence me to do something else or take that extra shot that I don't want to take. Maybe I'm making bad decisions because it just depends on the crowd that I'm with. And I think that's very, very important.
Yeah.
So I think the circle that he surrounds himself with is doing a better job of holding him accountable. And I think he's doing a better job of holding himself accountable. And I think that's the most important thing.
Right. Like kind of what I was getting at is like, as long as he doesn't have these big, huge, like horrible moments where he's, you know, crashing a car or getting a DUI, it's fine if he parties and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But those, like, whatever was going on where it got so out of hand, like I'm saying, I think it seems like that era might be over, which I hope so, because that's you don't want to see anybody going through like that type of mental crisis, you know.
No, of course. One thing I want to say before we switch gears, in my opinion, hands down, Jon is the GOAT. Outside of all the other things that we're talking about with like the allegations, I think strictly resume, Jon is the GOAT in my opinion. I think he's went through 4 different generations of athletes, maybe 3. If we're going by what I said, like the rule of 5s, I'm gonna say at least 3 at a very bare minimum, and then that 3-year layoff and coming back. Now beating Cyril Gane, who was relatively dangerous, and I want to point something out in that fight. Cyril Gane was doing exactly what he did in the countdown video that we talked about, that I told you I did not like. The fact that you're saying ready, set, go, and you let the chicken out in the coop and you got to run around and catch the chicken, and that's your way of defending a takedown, that is not high-level training at all. And I want to break it down because I'm not being maybe I should say I am being critical of Cyril Gane here, because if you were to properly get prepared for defense with Jon, you should have been starting when a guy has a body lock. How do you escape from this position? A guy has a single leg, high in the crotch, against the cage, in open space. He has a double leg. His hands are locked. He has a double leg. His hands aren't locked. He has you in a front headlock. Where do you go from these positions when you're sitting on the ground, sitting with your butt against the cage and your legs are tied up? Those are positions you're supposed to start from to see if you can weather the storm, and this gives you a better projection of where you can be, because he fought so tentatively. And then the one thing I said that he was going to do, I would have to find the exact moment where I said this on one of the podcasts. He throws the cross, overextends himself. Jon, easy slip, dip, takedown, game over, blouses.
Yeah.
Curtains.
As soon as he did that, I was like, this is exactly what Aljo said.
And I'm not even trying to act like a know-it-all, but
some people.
From myself, I just know certain situations, like for wrestling, just from the experience of being in the wrestling room from 10th grade all the way through college, coaching at the college level, and then coaching at the high school level. Like, I understand what works when you're trying to improve in these positions.
Yeah.
And having the guy out here in front of you in a big open-ass mat and going, ready, go, that's not it. And I know, I'm not saying that's all they did, but that's what they showed on the countdown.
Yeah.
And
I just don't know when that would ever actually help you.
Apply, yeah.
Yeah.
And Jon looked a little bit stiff on the feet, but once he got to that wrestling range and then he transitioned to the double leg, he went in from having that body lock, trying to leg lace and trying to get that far side leg lace to sit him down. He couldn't get it. He turned in with those long arms with that reach advantage and settled into a double leg and took him down. And he got that guillotine. It was like a short wrist guillotine ride where he was able to get the. I know you were saying it didn't look tight, but I'm telling you.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
This,
yeah, it had
this
to be.
gets under like this, and in my head, how is Cyril Gane not fighting the fingers? You can't choke anybody without these fingers right here.
He looked like he didn't know what to do at all.
Yeah.
In that situation. And I feel like he could have grappled for like a year straight. But Jon's been doing this for so long that it's like you can't make up for that. Maybe he could have lasted a little longer, but like there's such a huge deficiency there.
You could have a year straight and you could make some serious gains, but it depends on the type. If you're doing training like he was doing in the countdown video, again, I'm not picking on the training, but if that was the main primary thing that they were using as a rule of thumb to defend takedowns, try to scurry away and hopefully he doesn't catch you and then try to throw a strike. And I was like, dude, that's a poor man's plan. Like, yeah. Let's be honest here. Like, I don't know. That was tough to watch for Gane because I'm a fan of him as well.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm a bigger fan of Jon and just all the great things he's accomplished. And I like seeing people that I've met at some point in my time do great things, and Jon is one of those guys. So, great performance by him. And again, guys, even my opponents, if I grab your neck, grab my fingers, grab my hands. Don't just If you just lay there, I'm gonna just be like, shame on you, man. You had all this time to prepare for one thing. Not even one thing, a couple different things. I got a couple dangerous tricks. But you would think if a guy grabs your neck.
All you got to train for is the backpack with Aljo. Everything else.
Yeah, freeze my hands like Jan did and hope and pray to God, or TJ, and just go 2-on-1 and pray that I don't choke you out. And pray that I don't get mount, because if I get mount, you're I don't even know what to even call it. You're getting put in a body bag. You're gonna get the crap beat out of you. Let me get to mount.
You know who I think might get put in a body bag? That might be a little disrespectful that I just said that, but Jon's supposed to fight Stipe next. You could do a little early prediction. I'm just gonna say I thought Stipe looked a little scared.
I can see why you say that, but Stipe is such a nonchalant guy, and I think this has been his issue with the UFC, with them not wanting to give him certain fights or whatever it is behind the scenes. It just seems like they're just not happy with his persona that he puts out. He's just a nice guy. He's chill, super relaxed dude. He's a firefighter, and I do think if I'm him, I would heed Jon Jones's words of I would put firefighting on the back burner for now. If this is truly what Stipe wants to do in terms of making this competitive. Because
that might have been the coldest thing anyone's ever said. If I were you, I'd put the firefighting on the back burner because this is my number one priority until this fight.
And this is all I'm focusing on. And like I hear that, I'm just like,
thing.
That's like a challenge. Like, am I going to just do it and hope for the best, or am I going to heed those words and be like, I need to make sure I leave no stones unturned and come there game ready.
Yeah.
And I think Stipe could do it in the sense of he's wrestled before. He's not awful in wrestling. He's not that great at wrestling. Let's be honest. His primary skill set to me is the boxing. And I think he's going to have that over Jon, but Jon's going to have the reach advantage, which he always has with all these guys. And he's going to have the eyes to level change and look for tendencies. And Stipe's got to make sure he doesn't show any tendencies of where he stands so straight and upright that Jon's going to be able to fake, throw something big, maybe step in with an elbow, look for a clinch, another body lock. And if he gets that body lock again, man, the fight's over.
How's Stipe's jiu-jitsu?
I haven't really sat and watched him roll. I've seen him roll next to me, but I'm going to say it's not like Jon Jones, and I'm gonna say it's not like Craig Jones, not Craig Jones, Gordon Ryan or anything like that. It's like what it is for the entire division. Like there's not many good high level grapplers at the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
In terms of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
There's some decent wrestlers there, like Igor Blagoy Ivanov. He's a decent wrestler. I don't say not decent. He's a solid wrestler. Like straight up wrestling, he's very good. And then you got Curtis Blades, straight up wrestling, he's very good. But when it comes to MMA wrestling, when it comes to jiu-jitsu, a lot of those guys, they don't put it together. That's like the missing piece. Justin Gaethje, similar thing.
Yeah.
Michael Chandler, similar thing. Great wrestling background and pedigree, but when it comes to the grappling with the jiu-jitsu, they tend to neglect that.
Yeah.
Where that can end fights, man.
I know. I mean, it does.
Wrestling don't end fights. Not really. You could slam someone and hope to KO them, but for the most part, wrestling don't end fights. Jiu-jitsu ends the fight.
Yeah.
You could get to a wrestling position, but then you got to punch them out. That's work. The guy can still move. He can still get up, and he can still be in the fight. You know? And you can get exhausted from trying to punch them out.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, you get a submission, the game's over. Like, don't exhaust yourself, but you get a submission, the game's over.
Yeah. And I feel like most wrestlers don't embrace jiu-jitsu.
So
what made you take it so seriously? Like what?
Well, I was always better on the ground wrestling
because of the way you wrestled.
Because of the way I wrestled in college. That's why this whole thing. Let me give my prediction. I think as it stands today, because Stipe hasn't fought in a very long time, I have to lean towards the side of Jones. And I'm not saying anything crazy can happen, as we saw with Valentina Schevchenko and Alexa Grasso. Anything can happen. It's a fight. But as it stands right now, from both their last performances, I would have to tend to lean towards Jon Jones going into this next one with Stipe. Stipe's got his work cut out for him. It can be done. We've seen Volkanovski close the grappling gap with Islam Makhachev.
Yeah.
Stipe could do the same thing. It's just whether or not he's going to put that time in to do that.
Yeah. I think it'll probably be more competitive than this last fight.
I hope so.
Yeah. I'm not trying to watch a 2-minute fight again. I want to see some back and forth.
I just want to see. I want to see some challenges.
Yeah.
Like get some questions answered. But when it's just
yeah.
a straight up mauling, it's like, damn, it's like watching Tyson all over again.
But like how you were saying on last week's pod, like how Jon, when he came up, he was like vicious. He was trying to finish everybody early, like put on all these impressive performances. What I saw last night, I almost feel like that's what the mode he's in right now.
Yeah.
Like it's scary. Like just he's like martial arts lifestyle, Jesus Christ. Stipe, you better stop firefighting.
Yeah, he's on go right now.
Yeah.
Bro. Full on go.
And I'm like, I want to see how long he can ride at heavyweight. Like, I hope he beats, or I'm not saying I hope he beats Stipe, but I hope if he does, he keeps fighting other guys.
Yeah.
And like making the heavyweight division kind of rise to his level.
This is what we're saying. And I think if he doesn't, I'm hoping that if he does beat Stipe, he sticks around. Or if he loses, whatever, I just hope he sticks around and he's not going to go back on another vacation or this time just be gone for good. My biggest thing that I will want to see is the UFC figures out a way to make Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou, or should I say Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones, because technically Francis Ngannou is I don't want to say real champion, but he is still the real champ at one.
He never lost his belt.
Because if we're going by what Jon Jones said to DC, you were never really the champ. You were like a placeholder kind of thing, because he never actually beat him when they were leading up to that fight, the rematch. That same thing kind of applies here.
Keep that same energy.
Yeah, you got to keep the same energy. And it's no disrespect to Jon. Jon is Jon. And I'm not saying Jon is scared. I'm not saying Francis is scared. I just hope the UFC does what the fans want, and we don't get another Fedor Emelianenko situation where he never got to fight Brock Lesnar. We never got to see the biggest and the baddest dudes on the planet that everyone is talking about get to go at it. I don't want to see these guys fight when they're both 42 and 43. That's like, I don't want to see that. I want to see it now, within the next year. That would be nice.
What do you think would have to happen for Dana, who just said
Francis would never fight again in the UFC?
Like he just said this last night. What do you think would have to happen for him to change his tune?
I think if enough people ask for it, I think if the demand is high enough, and it obviously comes down to Dana wants what Dana wants, and it's going to have to be Dana's way. There can be some middle ground, I think, but it's going to have to tip in the favor of the UFC for them to make it happen. And I think there's some room for that to happen, whether or not Francis wants to budge or not. Maybe do a one-off deal. Because I was like, where's Francis going to fight? Who is he going to fight? I'm going to watch regardless. But the fight I want to see, the fight the fans want to see, and it would be a disservice to our generation and to the sport if these two guys, who the UFC always prides their model on, you get the fight that the fans want to see. Well, guess what? This is the fight that we want to see. And if you guys blow it, we're going to be pretty damn upset. And you can't keep saying that we give the fans the fights that they want, because you're not giving us the fights that we want. It's like you've
got two different scenarios. They eventually make that fight, and it's maybe the biggest fight of all time. Or
I
they
think it's
don't
the biggest
make
fight
this
in the
fight.
UFC.
Yeah, probably ever. It has to be. The two baddest heavyweights probably ever going against each other. Like the GOAT and then the scariest guy who's ever fought in the UFC.
Mm-hmm. Yo, that gives me chills.
Going
man.
against each other.
That gives me chills. That's a good fight.
How does Dana, who, if it makes dollars, it makes sense, how do you not make this happen?
Pride, ego, want to prove a point.
I hope Dana said that he's not ever going to sign Francis again because he's trying to, it's all negotiating tactics.
That too, and to try to get people to stop asking him.
Yeah, but
we're not going to stop asking.
Nah.
Dana, we want the fight. Make the fight, Dana.
Yo, after you beat Henry, you should be like, Dana White.
I want to see Francis.
Sign Francis Ngannou
versus Jon. Yeah, that would be cold.
That would be dope.
Like, I want to take this moment to say, Dana, we want to see Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones. That's one.
I don't think you could do anything that would make him hate you more than that.
But it would actually be funny.
It would be hilarious and viral as shit.
But I'm going to say, Dana, don't hate me, but we want Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones.
Yo, I saw Andrew Schultz tweet that right away last night. And I was like, oh, wow, that's so true.
Yeah.
But, even Francis kind of called out Jon.
Oh, we forgot about that. We didn't even talk about that.
He said, hey, Johnny boy.
Yeah.
What did he say? Basically, he called him a placeholder.
Congrats, and said, sincerely, the UFC heavyweight champion. I was like, ooh.
Okay, so.
I know that bothers Jon, though, because he wants to remove all doubt. Jon is a competitor.
of course, and he's like kind of a psycho. But like, I look at that and I'm like, Francis, you're sending mixed signals, dude. Do you want to box or do you want to fight for the UFC heavyweight title? Like, what is it you're trying to get at here?
I think it's all games for everybody.
I mean,
I think he's like playing the field.
I mean, I know that's what Chael Sonnen's gonna say. He's gonna be like, "You're sending mixed signals. You're ruining everything, Francis." Like,
he's testing the waters to see where everyone is at, getting people to care, getting people to talk, and that's what we're doing. We're talking about it because it's a very important moment in history, right?
I know this feels like after last night. This is gonna sound corny, but like after last night, I was like, this is why like I love the UFC. Like nights like this.
Yeah. That's not corny.
Just,
I think it's real.
like, this is it right here. Like, all these crappy fight night cards we had, like, this made it all worth it. Like,
yeah. Man, the last few fight cards have been
I
pretty
know.
brutal. And then not because of the fighters, because they're just relatively unknown. It's like you put these cards where they're just like, oh, let's just make fights. But there's no, like, rhyme or reason that it feels like, and there's no name value to help drive people to care that much. And then it almost feels like the media doesn't do a good job of, like, pulling out answers from them to make it a little bit more meaningful. And that's also on the fighters too. You got to look at the opportunity on a fight night to realize you can steal the show.
Of course. And like the only thing that makes it like okay is that a lot of times those fight night cards that seem like dead, a lot of times they have great fights.
All
like,
the time.
The fights turn out amazing.
I just don't know who I'm watching. That's what drives me nuts. And I watch the fights.
Yeah.
But then when I'm like, yo, I'm watching all these guys who are literally making their debut or had one fight, I'm just like,
or they're like fighting on some tournament to get into the UFC on a fight night card. I'm like, this is so weird.
It's pretty bad.
But yeah. So
yeah.
Jon and Francis.
I think that's the fight to make. I feel like I had something else I wanted to say about that, but honestly, that would be a great fight. If it doesn't get made, it would be a tragedy for the sport, and it legitimately would be the second one that got away. That's what it would feel like, next to Fedor Emelianenko versus Brock Lesnar. But segue into that, what about the upset of Grasso? Now joining the Elite Three, Brandon Moreno, Yair Rodriguez, now being the third Mexican-born champion and female. First female champion.
First female Mexican champion.
That's huge for her.
Dude, I felt like she was winning the fight even before the choke.
I felt like she was winning the exchanges.
She was landing the harder shots,
yes.
That's for sure.
But I felt like something, and I'm not trying to discredit her whatsoever, so by no means. I felt like that whole fight got matched up so late because it was supposed to be myself versus triple
what's his name?
Triple Turd. So it's supposed to be myself versus Triple Turd, and
who's he?
Because I don't know, this Turd guy. He trains with Mighty Mouse.
Okay.
So the fact that fight didn't get made, they put them two in there, and I don't want to make an excuse for either one of them, but they feel like they both look like they were slowing down a bit, and it might have been because of taking a fight on shorter notice than they would have liked for a 5-round fight.
Yeah.
That's how I felt watching it. Because I know the backstory where people probably watching it, I'm like, oh, she just looks off. I'm like, I feel like her output's not the same because maybe she didn't have enough time to train that she normally would have.
So
that's my personal opinion.
Merab said something too last night. He was like, because I had said like, oh, I feel like Valentina might be losing this fight. And he was like, she needs to stop traveling all the time. And if you saw in the countdown, she was like in Japan for this training camp. And I'm like, I wonder if that has anything to do with it, like not really having a training.
I think she came here like 3 weeks early though.
Yeah, no, but even just like that, she's moving around and training all these different places, and it's like maybe that's detracting from.
What's bad about it? Because it works for her.
That's
for
why
the last 10 fights.
I'm asking you, like, do you think that's a problem?
But I'm asking you also, what's bad about it? If she won her last 10 fights like that,
is that how she was doing it for the last 10 fights?
If you look at her page, they travel everywhere. Every single time they go to different places, different countries, which I like. Yeah. She has her main coach there with her, who I think is her sister's fiance or husband, whatever. The guy with the beard. Yeah, I know he dates one of them. I think he dates the sister. Cool. And she brings in training partners. So it's like, well, this is how they train. She's getting her work in. So I don't see the issue.
Well, then question answered. I just was curious because I didn't know she used to do that. Like she did that this whole time. Yeah. I didn't know that.
And it might also be because of visas.
Okay. Yeah, that could be. My other thing is like, if you look at her last 2 fights, this one with Grasso and then the one with Tyler Santos. It's crazy because we were just talking about this, but like someone's champion. We were talking about this with Dom. You're champion for so long. You have this crazy long winning streak.
Yeah.
And then every 10-year-old who's been watching you dominate for so long, they finally get a chance to fight you, and everyone's been gunning for you for so long, and it like you can see that happening in her last 2 fights where that are like she almost lost the last one, then this one, it was Grasso had her number.
Even the Jennifer Maia fight, heavy is the head that wears the crown, man. I feel like I'm in a very similar situation where now I go places, I feel like I'm being sized up by everybody that's anywhere remotely close to my weight, and even the 45ers who think I might come up to 45. They're like, let me see. I'm like,
you're okay.
Maybe he ain't all that big. I got him, you know. But that's Dominic Cruz is 100% right with that. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. But yeah, everyone's got all this film on them. I don't know how much she watches fight and breaks down film herself, or she just leaves that to her coaches for Shevchenko. That's very important for me. I like to be very involved in everything because for me to just and maybe it's micromanaging, but I just don't like just trusting someone to just tell me something because what you see might be completely different from what I see. Mm-hmm. The same way we're talking now about what we're seeing with the fights and the traveling and how she looked. I thought Valentina didn't look as sharp as she normally does, even though Grasso was doing the right things. Some of the stuff she was doing just looked forced, and she looked like she was slowing down in that early, maybe halfway through that second round. That's how I felt watching it. And I'm kind of like, Grasso looks great. Valentina doesn't look so great right now. Even though she's getting these takedowns, it looks like she's expending a ton of energy needing to get the fight to the ground because she can't keep up with the striking output of Grasso. Yeah. And maybe that could be the pressure of Grasso doing that. But from what it felt like and what I've seen previously in the past, it just didn't look the same like fresh Valentina going all the way through 5 rounds.
No.
Where you're like, oh, she can do this all day. Yeah. Like Captain America. she wasn't doing that, you know?
Yeah.
But the way Grasso took her back after she threw the spinning attack, it looked like she was throwing a kick. Guys.
The way she got the hooks in.
Backpack OG.
Oh, my God. Beauty.
Just beautiful, man.
And
the way she transitioned
didn't
into
fall over.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
And then she gets a submission, sunk it in. And once she got the hand behind the neck, I was like, the fight's over. Like, for you to pull the fingers all the way from behind as you're being compressed is extremely hard because you're, like, slowly closing in like this, and your eyelids are shutting as you're reaching back, and then next thing you know, you're sleeping. And she almost went to sleep, but she just said, you know what, I'm just going to tap.
Yeah, and
instead of going to sleep on the canvas.
I don't know if you saw because you were at the fights, but on TV, when she pulled her arm off.
The first time.
You could see after she tapped, she pulled her arm off. You could see, like, the white mark from her arm.
Yeah.
And the rest of her face was red, but there was this white mark, and it was like, that squeeze must have been crazy, dude.
Yeah, man. Good for Grasso, man. But
did anyone see that coming?
Back was insane.
I feel like no one even cared about this fight. Like, it was like, oh, Valentina. All right.
We're talking about Blanchfield.
Blanchfield's got Valentina next. She took that personal.
Oh.
She heard us talking about Blanchfield. She's like, bet.
Yeah, right? And then the crazy thing about that is now Blanchfield and Menon.
Yeah. Farrell. Yeah.
I think they should just fight because now they're going to have to wait, and it's like you're going to just be inactive and not compete at all. You might as well fight and figure out who's going to get the next shot, and then loser's going to have to default into the wrestlebacks, the fighting backs, and figure out if they can get back up to a title shot contention situation because they got to do an immediate rematch. They can't.
Yeah.
They can't just say, "Hey, Valentina, thanks for coming."
If you have the title that long, you always deserve the immediate
like Usman.
rematch. And then, like, give him a full camp, like you said. Let's see if it's the same thing. I actually it's different than when Pena beat Nunes.
100%.
Because that felt like kind of like a one-off thing. Like Nunes just maybe like it was a rough day and she just didn't want to be in there or something.
Seemed like she had a lot of stuff going on, and some people don't do good with a lot of things going on in their life.
It just and like it felt different. This felt like I don't know who wins the rematch to me, like genuinely.
I think watching Grasso's UFC countdown and then remembering, like looking back at some of her past fights, I didn't realize, and I completely forgot how good of a boxer she was. And the way she was throwing and sitting down on her punches and going forward and putting the pressure on Valentina. Valentina was either doing the inside leg kick or trying to do a check hook and then trying to circle out of there. but she did good fighting with combinations, and I think that was a difference. So I think Valentina's going to need to make big adjustments with that, and that's going to be the difference. Can she handle her if she takes her down and this time she gets her back again? Will she be able to defend? If she gets taken down, can she get up without giving up her back? Because Grasso's got a couple finishes from the rear naked choke position now that I remember. I know she at least has one in the UFC that I've seen from before. It might have been over Joanne Calderwood.
Yeah. I think so,
I don't know if she has any other ones outside of that. I would just imagine she has. But she seems pretty solid from the back control position. And I think Valentina needs to make up for the striking with the hands. I'm not saying go out there and kickbox, but how can you chip away at her with the leg kicks and the body kicks or even the head kicks without getting into too many boxing exchanges?
Yeah. You know what's... It's so weird, like, how...
I do this shit, guys. I do this. I am him.
Where'd that come from?
Just giving the analytical breakdown, you know. So if you need a guy, I mean, I don't really charge too much, but I'm just saying, if you need somebody.
What do you charge me?
I don't know if you can afford it, bro.
You know why I can't afford it?
Go ahead. Tell them that you're underpaid again.
No, okay. Guys, I'm paid very well. Like, very well. You'd be surprised how well I'm paid. It's actually crazy.
He drives a Porsche.
I mean, hey, I drive a nice 08 Honda Pilot, but that's because I'm a smart man with my money.
Good.
That's why.
You're like Khabib. Humble.
Yeah. That's me, humble.
Shavkat. Dude, there's so many good fights. We could be on this podcast talking for hours.
I think we have like 20 minutes left on this.
So let's just give these guys their flowers now, man. Shavkat is who he says he is.
Savage.
But Jeff Neal showed some vulnerability in the skill set of Shavkat and showed that this God King can bleed. And one of the things that Shavkat did very well was investing in the body with those knees, then with the kicks. Jeff Neal was primarily boxing the entire time. He had a hard time getting Shavkat had a hard time getting Jeff Neal down to the ground with the takedowns. Every time he would get to those clinch positions, trying to hit a knee tap, couldn't necessarily get him down. Jeff Neal did a great job defending. So maybe Shavkat's grappling isn't as high as we thought, or maybe Jeff Neal's grappling is much better than we thought, his defensive grappling.
But you said like Shavkat's this wrecking, like they made him out to be this wrecking ball.
Him and Khamzat.
Yeah, but like, you know, against the guys that aren't ranked or like are in the lower end of the rankings, like he'll wreck those guys. But then as soon as the competition, like up at the top, it's a lot more stiff competition.
Yeah.
Like this was a tough fight for him. He was forced to stand up.
Yeah, there's only a few guys at the top of the mountain for a reason, man. That's why they call it the top 5. That's why they call it the top 10. What happened? Khamzat fights Gilbert Burns. It turns into a freaking fight of the night barn burner. Then you have Shavkat fighting Jeff Neal. It turns into a fight of the night barn burner. But we did get some ending closure with Shavkat getting the finish with the old bouncer bulldog choke, putting him in there. But one of those
filthy.
Yeah, one of the reasons why the choke like that can actually work is when a guy is beaten up and he's bleeding and he's exhausted. It's a lot easier to tap and be like, all right, this sucks. Okay, I think I put on a good enough show.
I'm done.
Where necessarily if you were just grappling straight up on the mat, you're not going to just tap to that position. You're going to actually try to fight out of that. I'm not saying Jeff didn't try to fight out of it. It's just like you're so exhausted, like the fight is that much less compared to what it would have been. You know? So I think Shavkat is who he says he is. He is him, but he showed that his head movement isn't as great as it can be. He can be touched, and I think when the higher up he gets, maybe not like a Colby Covington, but I could see him as a future champion for sure.
I mean, the talk before this fight was that he is the future champion.
And I can
especially with Khamzat probably going to 185.
I think Khamzat comes back to 70.
If I'm Khamzat, I'm looking at this being like, if this was the best, I feel like Khamzat would be confident looking after that fight.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I think Khamzat could get him down.
Yeah, and
whether or not he would gas out.
But Shavkat showed, like, how good do you have to be at just all around to be able to be like that? You're known as this dominant grappler, but now he actually has more finishes on the feet than he does grappling.
Who?
Oh no, I'm tweaking. Shavkat won by choke yesterday, but
yeah,
you
tweak a lot sometimes. You thought I was gonna say something else. Yeah, you tweak a lot, bro.
The way your face got straight, you're like, yeah, you tweak a lot.
I would love to see that matchup. I
That would
don't
be
think it should
sick.
happen right now. I think we'll see what happens with the next fight for both of them, and then potentially make that matchup. Cause you still got Bilal, you got
Bilal.
Bilal,
It's Bilal.
whatever.
Can you say the L?
We still got.
Wait,
we
can
still
you
got,
say it like Bilal?
We got remember
No,
the
please,
name. We got
please.
remember the
Can
name.
you try it?
We got Kobe Covington. We got remember the name. We got
Oh.
Masvidal. We got Burns. We got Leon Edwards, and we got Usman.
You said Bilal.
That's a dangerous 6 right there. And then you got
Oh my god.
Hamzat.
And they're all like grapplers, dude.
Yeah.
Except Leon. But even Leon took Kamaru's back. Like he's not a chump.
That's funny. Yeah, so I think the future is bright for 170, and I think Shavkat showed a lot of people that he can take it and he can dish it. You know what I mean? Because before it was just I could dish it, but he
Dude.
showed that he can now be on the receiving end and still shine through. He got hit with some bombs from Jeff Neal where he got reeled backwards and he was still like, "Come on." And I was like, yo, it's this right here, sitting front row to watch that. I was like, yeah,
Are you
this
built
is
like
what
that?
it's all about.
You get cracked like that, are you gonna be like?
I mean, Pedro cracked me a couple times,
But are you like?
and then Jan cracked me a couple times, and I was kind of just shrugged it off and just went back forward. But
Next time you should go like this, and I guarantee you'll have like 500,000 more followers.
that's funny.
I swear to God, people will love that.
I don't know why people love that. It's kind of like when Cody kept doing like the breakdance, Dance Revolution in the fight, and then nothing would happen for like the next minute. I was like, I don't even understand the purpose of it. It looks cool because it's like, oh, he's about to do the stuff he was doing when he was fighting Dom and start like slipping and ripping. But then he just danced and then nothing happened after that. Like you're waiting for that moment like, he's just dancing.
It's like a YouTube video. You got to peak the retention a little bit, just to keep them engaged. You know?
Yeah. Well, there's people that started doing the flashlight during that fight, which I thought was like, damn. I was like, damn, this
Does
guy.
that mean it's boring?
Yeah. But my thing is like, when he fights aggressive and he gets knocked out, people crap on him. And then he fights a smart fight and people are upset that he's fighting a smart fight.
Yo.
Like, Trevin Jones hits hard.
He had to win that fight, and he did.
Yeah.
Like he would have gotten cut if he lost that fight. I think.
Maybe not cut. I think they would have given him one more.
What? That would be like 5 in a row.
I think he lost 3, then lost. No, 3, then 1, then lost 2. Rob Font, and
Who did
then
he
he
beat?
got finished by Kai Kara-France.
Who did he beat?
Rafael Sensao.
That was 2 fights ago.
That was like Pedro Munoz, TJ Dillashaw twice.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, maybe
Come
one
on,
more
man.
then.
You're talking to the encyclopedia, bro.
Yo, I get it. I really shouldn't even be here. I'm not qualified for this.
But going back to Shavkat, I think Shavkat is the future. But again, I think when you have a fight like that, it makes people less afraid to get in there with you because they're like, okay, I just got to make sure I'm being tough and being smart. He's hittable. He showed that there is room for me to touch him. And I think when you see that, it makes you more confident going into the matchup.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and then you got to think like, where's Kevin Holland in the midst of all
I
this?
forgot
You know?
about Kevin Holland. And even Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
And then, like, even like Hamzat, when he fought Burns, and then people saw that, they're like, hold up, Usman knocked him out. Then Usman lost to Leon. So you're trying to do MMA math, but you're just realizing how good the division is. And you're like, well, if he struggled with Burns, that means he's going to have a much tougher time than we thought when he got to the top of the division, which is exciting to see because no one really wants to see someone just steamroll everybody because it gets boring after a while. It's like, we want to see you get challenged. It's like we want to see Mayweather lose. That's what people wanted to see. That's like for me, I like seeing Mayweather dominant, just show like high level defense and how you could be super dedicated to your defensive craft and still dominate the fight and make it look easy.
Definitely.
But people want to see you lose sometimes. They're like, you won enough.
They want to see you lose.
Off with his head. People want to see me lose, but people want to see me win at the same
But
time.
it's nice for you because like your championship run started with people wanting to see you lose, but then it's gonna turn into them wanting to see you win.
I don't think people want to see me lose. I think the UFC brass want to see me lose.
Nah, I mean,
On
okay,
my run before the belt.
no, but like
No.
After you won the belt?
No. I'm
Now-
saying before I even got a chance to fight for the belt, they've been trying to give me hitter after hitter for me to lose to, and I kept defying the odds. Literally, I'm the only guy who fought that many top 5 guys in a row with the hopes that he loses and he stops asking for a title shot.
no, I agree. But like maybe that's a good thing. Like maybe they just wanted to prepare you for when you became champion.
Stop it.
And like
Stop it.
you know, they were like,
Get
we
out.
really want you to be ready so you can have a long,
Yeah.
dominant financially
That's exactly what they
prosperous title run.
You got to think about it. When you go on a complete title tear, like say you win 3-4 fights in a row, you start to get paid more. And then on top of that, your popularity tends to go up, like Usman or Israel Adesanya, people pay you more. So even like a Jon Jones, his contract is fatter because he's won how many times he defended the belt? 14 times at light
he's
heavyweight.
the
But what I'm saying
GOAT.
is,
Bah.
yeah, I like when he did that in the post-fight speech.
That was fire.
But what I'm saying is, the more you win, the more the UFC almost feels like they're almost more obligated to pay you because you are the reigning, defending, and dominant champ.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's like, what can they say?
Yeah, they can't really tell you no. It's like, yo, you're winning and you're putting up the numbers because otherwise they want to keep putting you out there. Like, obviously you have to fight, but they want to keep putting you out there to try to make these quick turnarounds. And if you keep making these quick turnarounds and you win, like a Volkanovski, your pay goes up, bro. You know, so...
And eventually you become, like, super popular.
Yes.
Just...
But if you win the belt, you lose your very next fight, that's like, oh, thanks for coming. We didn't really have to pay you that much. You weren't that popular to begin with, but you were the champ. Now you lost the belt next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when that one guy keeps winning and now those checks are starting to stack up a bit, life is good. You know?
Yeah, but then the UFC is probably like, okay, we got to get this guy out of here.
Yeah,
It's
like,
costing us too much.
Maybe that's not the exact way that they're looking at it, but I think they're looking for fights where they can be entertaining and they can cash out as well.
Yeah.
That's what I really think. Yeah.
Like, what I'm saying, though, is for you, like, after the Peter Yan, like, the first fight, obviously people started, like, not liking you. But you keep winning, you're, like, proving them wrong, and I feel like you're gaining more, you're becoming more favorable.
Yeah, but the only thing that's so annoying about that narrative to me is they don't like me because they say how I carried myself after the DQ. I literally went on the thing and said, like, I don't feel like a champion because I felt like, you know, the DQ doesn't really count. Like, it counts, but it doesn't count. It's almost like an asterisk, which it is. It's completely fair to say. But then the thing that bugged me the most is, like, to say that I was acting as if I was in any type of mental space after being exhausted and getting beaten up for the better half of the last 2.5 rounds and getting my head rattled and then getting crushed with a knee, and you think I have the wherewithal to dictate what my face looks like, my mannerisms, and like, oh, you were rolling, you were selling it. I'm like, guys, I thought the fight was gonna be a no contest, and after the no contest, I don't get a rematch. So where's acting coming into play? I didn't get 5 minutes. The ref and the doctor decided not to give me 5 minutes. If you had given me 5 minutes and allowed me to sit there and say, and then you give me time to recover and be like, do you want to continue? I'm going to say yes. Every fighter is going to say yes because we're too dumb. That's just what we do. You know, yeah, I'm tough. Like the kid, Mana Martinez, got poked in the eye, got kicked in the balls twice. And he got poked in the eye. He only took like 20 seconds. And I was like, this kid is, like, this is the idiocracy of our sport where we want to prove to the world, yeah, we're tough. Guys, we're fighting already. We get it. You're a tough guy and a tough gal.
Yeah.
You don't need to take a shorter time to show like I'm a badass. Because you lose.
Right.
Like now you feel like an idiot for not taking the time to make sure you're probably back to where you could have possibly been before the foul.
Right.
But whatever. But yeah, I agree. That's where the turn started to happen. I'm like, guys, if you think I'm not champ material, just go back and watch the other performances. Just 3 performances before that. And if you still think the same way, then it's like, all right, then it is what it is.
And I'm trying to tee it up. Like, look at Izzy. Like, people loved him at the beginning of his run, and now it's flipped on him where like people are I feel like people are chomping at the bits to see him lose.
Well, he did though.
Yeah, but even still, I feel like they still want him. Like I feel like Pereira's like the new fan favorite in that division. Whereas for you, like I feel like if like once you beat Henry, it's like then you become a superstar almost. Then you get to fight Sean. And like it's almost the reverse for you, where I feel like a lot of guys, the longer they win, the less they're liked. Like they become the villain.
Yeah.
But like for you, it's almost you started the villain, and now you're like becoming more liked as it goes on.
I guess. I don't know.
I think it's good. Yeah.
I'm
the gratification.
I'm like whatever about it, and I think sometimes I have like these fan interactions where like if I'm not getting paid to do it, I have like these weird fan interactions because I don't know what the people that come up to me think, and I don't know what their intent is. Because I know during that 13-month period, dude, I had a lot of like negative altercations online or feedback from anything I put out. And I had a lot of threats. So naturally, when someone threatens you, you don't know what they look like from behind a computer screen or because of a fake thumbnail. When I'm out in public, I don't walk with security guards. So to think that I'm not going to be standoffish and kind of have like my guard up or be like people ask me, can I take a picture? I'm kind of like, I'm trying to like read the body language, which is exhausting because I'm just like, I got to do this every time someone comes up to me because I just don't know. And I got to make sure I'm protecting myself.
Yeah, that's
but
real.
It could be some random person that, just wants to get close enough. And then it's just like, all right, you know what I mean?
That's totally real.
Yeah. So when people like come up to me and they see like, oh, he's being an asshole, I'm kind of like, yo, I feel like you're invading my privacy and you're a little like it's not a paid event where this is what I'm supposed to do. You're coming up to me when I'm in my personal life and doing stuff with my fiance or out with my family or whatever it is, and I got to make sure I'm kind of on edge because I just never know.
Well, yeah. Anyone else like who's a civilian, if someone comes up to them and just starts talking to them, it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Like if I'm just walking through, like I'm not famous, but
Or
if I'm
really close to you.
Yeah.
Put their hand on you and it's just like, yo, what are you doing?
What the hell? Yeah. But it's like for you, there's like this missing like regard for how you would feel about that, you know?
Yeah. Keith Lee, he's like Kevin Lee's brother that does a TikTok thing. He actually went through his stuff on TikTok and he put out a post like, guys, like I don't mind taking a picture and saying hello, but when you start following me and start staring at me and my family and my kids, that makes me feel very uncomfortable and I have social anxiety. And that's a real thing. He's like, so if I feel threatened, I will protect yourself. He's like, guys, I will protect myself. He's like, don't forget, I am him. And I thought that was the funniest thing, but it's so true because it's like people forget we're real people.
And he's a fighter.
And it's not even that. It's like we're real people.
No,
like,
I know, but
I'm not gonna be weird to you. Like, but don't be weird to me and make me feel like, yo, I don't know what's going on. Like, the guy's walking up to us in our section.
He gave us shots.
But not even that. Like, you bring over a shot.
What am I? You think I'm gonna take
just
that?
Drink your shot?
Yeah.
Like, bro.
Like,
what are you thinking?
I've heard about this in movies.
Yeah. Like oh yeah, great, thanks, buddy. Like,
wake up.
I know you from nowhere.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's nice.
It's very nice. Yeah.
But they have to remember that people do weird stuff. I don't know if you're one of the weird ones. That's it. So it's like, don't feel like I'm being rude or standoffish because I'm not. I'm just very protective of my personal space because I just don't know what people's intentions are. Like, I'm not a big dude. I mean, I can fight, protect myself, but there's some big 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" mofos that I'm just like, I'm gonna have my work cut out for me if this went left.
You don't want to get
because
into
he was
it
mad
with
about a bet, guys. Like, you know what I mean?
That's real. Someone lost like 10K.
Yeah.
They're like, they actually think it's your fault.
Yeah. Well, that one guy at the hotel who I was like, dude, you're gonna get me arrested because I'm gonna legit have to smash some civilian who won't like get out of my personal space.
I remember. What did you say to him? I forgot. You were like, yo, you're such a tool.
Yeah, I called him a tool. I was like, bro, the fight was yesterday. It was cool. I was like at the arena. It was cool, kind of at the hotel. I was like, but now it's the next day. I want to chill.
And
the
you're
fight's
at the
over.
fighter hotel.
You're at the fighter hotel. You're in my personal space. I'm trying to just go where I'm trying to go. And you're making this hard for me to do what I want to do. And at this point, I'm going to have to react. And I was like, I'm not threatening to assault you.
Yeah.
But if you keep getting closer to me, just know something bad might happen.
Well, so yeah, this dude bet on Peter Yan at the Jacksonville fight. And
parlay.
And he lost the bet, obviously.
Last leg was me.
Yeah. And then he started like yelling some crazy stuff at Aljo at the arena. But then he came to the fighter hotel. So he was doing this at the arena.
Yeah. I saw him when I was walking out the cage.
And then he came to the fighter hotel in the lobby the next day and was like doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And Aljo, I remember this because there was a kid who came up and asked you for an autograph.
Yeah.
But the guy who was taunting you was right behind him.
Yeah.
And you yelled at the guy and you were like, "You're such a tool." And the kid who was asking you for the autograph thought you were talking to him.
Yeah.
And I had to go over to the kid and be like, "Yo, he's not talking to you. He's talking to this guy who was behind you." Because the kid's face was like.
Yeah, and I feel bad because some of these people I know that they look at us like we're superheroes of some sort, even though I just feel like I'm just a regular person. But at the same time, I have to remind myself of these things. And I just hope the people understand, like, hey, we are probably the most easily approachable people out there. I know there's still some ass hats out there, like some of the fighters who could be really rude. And I get that too, because they're people and they just want to live their life. But compared to other sports, well, other sports do you get to come down to the floor, touch you don't get to do things like that with other sports. We're very inclusive with the fans. And that's why we appreciate them so much, because they technically pay the bills. I can't do this without you guys, and you guys wouldn't have us to do this with, the interactions and to tune in to watch if it wasn't for us going out there and putting it on the line every single time.
Yeah.
So I just hope people understand that, like, I'm not coming from a rude place, because I know some people are going to be like, oh, well, you should know it comes with this. Like, dude, shut up. Listen to what I'm saying and stop trying to make up your own thing. What I'm saying is it can be very difficult to sort out who's a true fan and who is actually trying to do something funny or something weird, and you just don't know. I don't roll with security all the time, and when I'm out in my personal space, it's like, yo, just be cool. I'm going to be cool too, but if you start doing weird stuff and give me weird vibes, I'm from the hood, bro. So I pick up on energy, and if I feel something ain't right, I'm going to just straight up tell you, like, yo, you need to back up, because I'm not feeling this right here. Like, this right here is no good for me right now.
No. Yeah, and I mean, there's a ton of people trying to talk to you and see you, like at a fight week, for example. Like, they're all like coming in the hotel, trying to get you go outside and it's like you get mobbed.
Yeah.
So it's like, that would be scary for anybody. We did get a couple fan questions, some voice memos, if you want to answer, or do you want to save those?
Last thing, let's say this. Bo Nickal. Oh, yeah. Savage. Now, one of the things I will point out, and guys, I'm only doing this because, yeah, he had a great performance, but I always tell it how it is. Bo Nickal had a tough time with that very initial takedown, which is natural when the guys are both fresh and they're both strong. But that first knee tap takedown he went for, and Jamie Pickett was able to stop it. It is Jamie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I hope it was like Jeremiah. Jamie Pickett stopped the first initial takedown, landed a beautiful knee to the body, and then Bo was able to eventually get the fight down to the ground, try to take the back, cradled him up, eventually slapped on the Darce choke, then transitioned to mount, then got the head and arm choke. After a couple readjustments, did a lot of squeezing, a whole lot of squeezing. When they walked and they were cage side, I could see the significant size difference where Jamie Pickett just looked that much more powerful than Bo Nickal. But Bo Nickal's technique and his years of experience for wrestling looked very good. Now, the only issue that I'm seeing with this is the uncomfortability with the striking. But again, if he's smart enough and he can see all the strikes coming, all he needs to do is slip one the same way John did against Gunn, and that takedown's going to happen, and he's going to be able to pack him up all day long.
Because even his jiu-jitsu now is
solid.
Very threatening.
Yeah.
Like, all his fights are finishes in
and
MMA.
He was a mat wrestler, too. He was good on the feet in college, but he was a mat wrestler.
So that's folk style.
Folk style.
What you did.
USA
and what
wrestling.
He did. Okay, American wrestling. That's not what international wrestling is. So the guys who go to the Olympics, they do a different style.
Yeah, and that's why I say Henry's thing is completely different
so
from me.
that like international style is more takedown oriented, right?
Yes.
Where the style you did, which is folk style, is more like takedown, but there's stuff that goes on the ground too, where you're trying to like.
We essentially turn them to their back to try to get points, and then if you crack 45 degrees, you start counting, and once you swipe, like 2 seconds is 2 points. Now they changed the rule in college where I think anything after 2 seconds is now a 4-point swing, or I think it has to get to 5.
So you're trying to control people on top, and when you're on bottom part of you're trying to get out and do all that, right?
Yeah, but when you're on top, you're trying to turn them or you're trying to pin them.
Gotcha.
To accumulate points.
So that obviously is amazing to transition into jiu-jitsu.
And because we couldn't lock our hands. We can't lock our hands around the waist when we take them down.
When you get to MMA and you start doing jiu-jitsu and you're allowed to lock your hands, that's why That's why there's some wrestlers who come in and become strikers, and some who come in and become dominant grapplers.
Yes, that's what I would say.
And that's the difference between you and Henry, and then like a Khamzat versus like a Bo Nickal, right?
A Khamzat versus a Colby Covington.
Yes. Okay. Colby's more
free, American wrestling, folk style.
Yeah.
Wrist control, wrist riding, spiral ride. And this is why I look at Henry and I go like, people keep saying he's a better wrestler. I'm like, the guy hasn't legitimately wrestled a competition since he was like 19 years old when he won the Olympics.
Who does he take down and hold down and grapple with?
And that's exactly my point. So it's like when people want to compare that, I'm like, go ahead, guys, because you guys keep saying all these things. Cody Stamann was another one that was a solid wrestler in high school. I think he was like a state champ or state placer. I never went to states. I placed in the D3. Cody kept talking about his wrestling was better than mine, and placing in D3 was like talking about winning high school states. I'm like, oh, you want to disrespect like that? You want to disrespect like that? Okay.
Who said that?
Cody Stamann.
Okay.
And I got to show him. So everyone who says all these stuff about I haven't fought a wrestler, like I fought Brian Carey, that was like one of the performances that kind of annoys me because I prepared so well, and then me doing 3 workouts the day of the fight shot myself in the foot where I was just exhausted after the first round.
Yeah.
But that first round was easily a 10-8 what I did to them in there. And I'm like, guys, I could normally do that at like all day long.
But you just gassed out because that day you did 3 workouts.
Yeah, just to try to over-prepare, trying to do all the situations that we might have. Because I was psychotic in my head, like, I want to win, I want to win, I want to win. It's like, yo, idiot, the work is done. Relax. Do what you normally do. Do your morning shakeout. Do your warm-up before the fight.
You had like
go fight.
OCD
Win.
that day where you were like, I have to make sure. Like,
running sprints. Then doing a full hour-long workout. And then this is before I even get to the back room. Then in the back room trying to do another hour-long workout. And then to the point where I was like, guys, I'm a little tired. And Matt was telling me in the back room, like, dude, save some for the fight. I was like, no, I'm good. And then I realized, like, I'm actually really freaking tired. And whatever.
That's actually crazy that it got to that point.
Yeah. But it is what it is. It's all learning experience, you know? So
yeah.
I think Bo Nickal is going to have a very successful career. I do think he's got to get somewhat comfortable on the feet. Not saying go out there and exchange with all these guys and these heavy hitters.
Yeah.
But make sure you have some type of comfortability, because push comes to shove. If you can't get the guy down, Makhachev versus Islam, you get into those later rounds, got to make sure you're mentally prepared for that. And I think he will be.
Yeah.
I just think right now he's taking it slow, which the UFC is doing the right thing by him.
He needs to take it slow. At first I was thinking he could probably take down Izzy and submit him right now. Like, I was thinking it would be cool if he called out Izzy or something, just because it would be so viral, or Pereira, because both those guys I think he could beat just because they don't have no grappling really.
Yeah.
And I think grappling controls the fight.
Wasn't Rosa supposed to fight in that card?
Rosa, was he?
Raul Rosa?
I don't know. This card?
Yeah, I thought he was on this card originally.
No, I don't think so. He just fought.
Yeah, he's supposed to fight Christian something.
That'd be quick. Wow.
Christian Draco.
Oh,
or something like that. Whatever.
But yeah, now I think because like he has no MMA experience, like really, like he has a little bit, but I don't think he had an amateur career.
Nah.
And like he has no fights. He has really no fight time under him.
Yeah, but he's got good training partners over there at American Top Team.
Of course, but like, so he has to. He said it himself in the post-fight press conference. Like, I don't have a lot of experience, but so I have to get it through training. But I think it's smart of him to not like rush it.
Yeah,
he definitely needs to like take it easy, going, being where he's at.
I agree. There was some other good fights, but let's maybe try to get 2 questions in before this runs out.
We
on
have
us.
like 3 minutes on there, I think. Here.
How does Aljo deal with nerves before fights?
That's from Andrew Osborne.
Damn, I think we're done.
Just answer it.
I'm going to say the way I deal with nerves before fights, just remind myself that I did everything that I possibly could have. I left no stones unturned, and I think that gives me the confidence to make the walk. Reminding myself in the back room, one of my mottos, my mantra is too fast, too strong, too quick, and I can't be broken. And I remind myself of that. Like, you came too far, you worked too hard. And I always tell myself, honestly, I look in the mirror right before I'm about to go out in the back room, and I just go, don't be a bitch. This is your time. If it gets tough, we push through and we find a way to win. And that gets me going and gets just gets everything flowing, man, when I'm just ready to go. I'm just like, there's no turning back. The ships are burned, and it's time to go.
All right, one more.
Hey, Aljo. My name's Emmanuel. You've seen me before at the wrestling tournaments in Uniondale. I just had a question. Have you picked out your song yet for your fight against Cejudo or not?
Emmanuel, I'm probably going to walk out to my walkout song, Go Dumb, by myself and my brother, Troy Grimes, also from Unidale, same mom, same dad. And I'm probably going to remix that with maybe Joyner Lucas, I Love.
Okay. I love again.
Mhm.
All right. I think we're good.
Guys, thank you for tuning in. If you like our shit, subscribe to our shit or spinning back fit, baby. Hey, just not in the cage. Don't do the spinning stuff in the cage. We've seen how that plays out of late.
Good one.
Peace.